In this experiment, we are going to do an exothermic reaction with hydrogen peroxide and potassium iodide. So here we have our hydrogen peroxide. Got to be careful with this guy, it's 30%. And what we're going to do is use a small pipette and add some hydrogen peroxide to the test tube. Okay, you got to be very careful with this. Have to wear glasses in this experiment, 100%. Also gloves. Okay, here's our nice little pipette here. Let's go ahead and carefully grab some hydrogen peroxide, and we're going to add it to the test tube. That's enough. This is going to be a reaction that'll expand quickly with lots of oxygen as a product, and we might have a spillover effect. So usually, of course, we need the gloves. Now, in order to not to block this, let's see how this might work. It might be a good idea to take one of these guys, our nice beaker, and place it, right under here. And let's make sure we can still see what's going on. Okay, this will collect some of the overflow. It'll be better to use a bigger beaker, but for now this will work. Now at this point, we want to take a look at the temperature, and I'll take the camera out and let's take a look at the temperature reading. Okay, so we are going to read, now this happens to be right at the lip of the, so I'll take it up a little bit. It's about 20 degrees. Don't have to be too accurate here because we're going to get quite an increase in temperature. So it's about 20 degrees. You can see that, the mercury. And it'll probably shoot up to about 70 degrees or something. So let's get ready for this experiment. Okay, let's put the camera back. We see the whole apparatus. Now, here we got to be very careful. So first of all, we're going to get a little So we are going to scoop up some potassium iodide and of course add it to the test tube, which contains hydrogen peroxide at 30%. Going to add it to the test tube here, and that's when you're going to see the massive reaction, okay, of oxygen being released. Here we have the potassium iodide, which we are going to add to the 30% hydrogen peroxide in the test tube. Okay, now I'm going to put the cap on without spilling the scoop. I'll tighten it later. Okay, let's get these objects out of the way. We're going to get quite a bit of reaction here. Okay, so let's get a close-up of the scoop. Here it is. Now get ready for the reaction. Going to pour this into the hydrogen peroxide. You can see the oxygen being released. I just managed to get it so it wouldn't overflow. let the reaction subside a little bit. Now we're going to go look at the temperature. Okay, so let's take the camera out. Okay, now we're going to measure the temperature. You can see that the mercury has gone up, and we're reading, let's take a look at that. Got to turn this a little bit. You know, close to 80 degrees. Sure enough. So that was quite a jump in temperature, illustrating that this is a exothermic reaction, in which case we release heat. So we did this very carefully with 30% hydrogen peroxide and a small scoop of potassium iodide. Just enough so it didn't overflow, but we did have the provision for the beaker to collect any overflow. Okay, so that concludes this experiment.